Hey fellow gamers, Chatty Sisa here and welcome to the February live stream. I hope you don't mind, I am a little bit late this time again, but this time it was technical difficulties, I would say. Maybe you are noticing the background is a little bit dark, a little bit too dark for my taste, to be honest, and I think it's connected with what I have seen. I had immense trouble to connect YouTube and OBS, and it does seem like OBS has some problems because again the lighting is not really so great. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, we'll have to fix it. I did play around with it for almost an hour, to be honest, so I hope everything's working fine on your end. I just wanted to mention that the chat is open and I can see it here on this part of the screen, so in case you're wondering where I'm looking, and feel free to say hi when you drop in. At least I know that you can see me and hear me, that's the important bit. I have also checked this time if we have the sound for the desktop, because I'm going to play at least a little portion of a vid, and I want to make sure that you can hear it. So yeah, that would be for the start. I hope that you don't mind. And I can see Luis is here. Hi. Everything's fine. Good. Thank you very much for the confirmation. It was a struggle a little bit today, really, as I said. So OBS is kind of messed up. And I think it was asking for some update, but it was asking me for an update like 5 minutes before the stream. So I didn't want to do that anymore. Yeah, I do have some topics prepared. Probably you have seen. So I want to show you. I did mention it already a couple of months ago, actually. It was, I think, like 3 or 4 months ago. There's an indie game which is a city builder, not the usual RPG or even point and click that I have on my channel. It's a city builder, something similar like Pharaoh Cleopatra, if you remember. And I really like the game. I was really, let's say, a fan from the start when I have seen the first pictures from the game. So I was following up on that game, and we have some good news because Željko, that's the guy who's developing the game, he's a Croatian guy. He did put out a YouTube vid with some gameplay, so we can see a little bit from the gameplay what it looks like, and also the music. I really love the music. The music is really nice. So I want to show you a little bit from the gameplay. Not too much. I don't want to like spoil him the views. It would be better if you would go over to his channel and, you know, watch the vid. And then aside from this one, I have a tiny update for Exodus. There was some new information, not that much really. I think they are relatively like doing a quiet marketing, I would call it almost. So they are just releasing here and there some information, but it's like nobody's really talking that much about it, which I think it's a shame. But we do have something new. Then I did see on a Discord server where I am, and on this spot, thanks a ton again to Spell and Shield, who has a Discord server and where I am there, and the communication there between the people is really awesome. So it's a great server. There's a ton of people there, various topics. There's a lot of fun usually when I'm seeing the debates. But people are posting some new stuff, and somebody mentioned that over there on the Dawnwalker Discord server there are some new posts. So I went into the Dawnwalker Discord server and I checked it out, and there was some new concept art. So I'm having it. Not that much, as I've said, but at least some small update again. And then I do have one funny thing at the end, which I wanted to share with you. So yeah, that will be just by the end of the stream. We do have, of course, some other stuff as well, which is going on. And I didn't really want to make a video about it, or I didn't really want to chime in because there's a ton of controversy again going on now, especially with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Probably you've noticed that's like going on for like 2 or 3 weeks. I will be honest, I am already a little bit tired from that, so I didn't even like bother, let's say, commenting on that one. Yeah, props to Spell and Shield. His latest review of Avowed was spot on. I didn't even have the time to watch it yet, but I know that he made a vid and I wanted to look at that because Avowed is another game where there's a lot of people criticizing the game. I think there are some good things on the game, but yeah, there's a lot of things that's just going wrong. And the same, by the way, also with Civilization 7. That's also something where I have some info prepared for Civilization 7, especially the Steam reviews are... It says mixed, but the latest ones which I have seen are all just negative. So unfortunately, it's a shame that there are so many games now coming out that people were like waiting for many years, partially. And I think it started last year. We have seen it with a couple of games. I'm not even going to name those. And it's going on right now still. And there, like I said, there are some games which are coming out. People have been waiting for them, and they are either super buggy or they really don't make sense with the changes that they did. They have a bad UI, or the story is not so great, etc., etc. So it looks like people are, let's say, relatively disappointed with quite a few games. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is still doing very well if you look at the numbers on Steam. So I don't think that there is a problem, let's say, from this side, but there are still, of course, some people who are mentioning certain things. I do have some small criticism as well on one thing, but it's not necessarily a game that I am planning to cover. It's a first person. I never really played first person games. I do have the first one. I did buy it, and I will see, maybe I buy the second as well. But for me, the priority is now with my, let's say, third person RPGs. I know that it's great, at least the first one. I know that people have been saying the game is really great. I'm just not sure if I will have the time to play it so soon. So it's like kind of on the end of the list currently for me at this time. Yeah, unfortunately, we've noticed that's from Louis. Yeah. So yeah, let me start maybe with the positive stuff, and that would be actually the Pompeii, the Legacy, the city builder. Yeah, Louis is writing, I just hope that KCD can make enough to cover the marketing expenses. Yeah, in terms of the marketing, I think there was some unfortunate like things that Vavra has said where I didn't necessarily agree with him, to be honest. I did agree with him previously when I was mentioning it, if you remember, in one of my vids, where he was just comparing stats, and the statistics are just numbers, and people were angry at him because he was just posting numbers and comparing KCD1 with Dragon Age, the Fail Guard, and people were saying like, yeah, he's criticizing other devs and whatever. No, he was just posting numbers. So that's when I said, okay, I do agree with him, because posting numbers and saying, yeah, look, my game's doing actually better than a very new game which just came out, that's something positive. I don't see it negatively. But in the, let's say, promo or marketing for KCD2, especially like in the last month before it was released, he did have some, yeah, let's say, unfortunate posts or takes, which I don't think were so great, especially towards some people who were like maybe criticizing him. So the feedback or the reactions were not so awesome, to be honest. I mean it more in the sense that the marketing seems massive. The number of ads has been crazy. Oh yeah, you know what I have noticed? I have been ordering from Alza something. So for those of you who are not here in Central Europe and you don't know that, it's basically like a local Amazon, I would say. Okay, so they started with electronics. They are a Czech company, a Czech-based company. They started with electronics, if I remember correctly, that's quite a few years back, and then they were like adding more and more stuff. Now you can buy basically whatever you want from Alza, and yeah, plus the various promo events with prominent YouTubers. Yeah, and when you order something from them, you have like pickup boxes. So you can either have the stuff delivered to your home, or you have basically like in every village already a drop box where they drop it off and you can pick it up there. And I have one here. And I was just picking up the stuff that I have ordered, and I come to the screen, and the first thing which I see on the screen is like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, order now. So a huge banner there before I even like managed to like enter the numbers and pick up my stuff. So yeah, it's everywhere. It's even on the Alza boxes, and I even think they are like cooperating. So yeah, and as you mentioned, the promo events with prominent YouTubers, etc. So I think they did, because the first game was so doing so well, and they knew that the second one is highly expected. I think that's why they were investing so much in the marketing. And I think now they also had the money, if we think about it. I think they've been bought by the Embracer Group. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really have all the dates or data in my head, but I think they have now like, let's say, some shareholders who just pump money into the company. So they had more money now for the marketing, definitely, I think. Yeah, on behalf of the Czech Republic, I would like to apologize for spawning that green monstrosity. Okay, let me show you. Maybe that's a good spot where we could actually show the green monstrosity we are talking about. It's like a mascot of Alza, and actually, Louis, you are going to hate me for it, but I like the green monstrosity. I even like the ads for Alza. People say I'm crazy. Yeah, I like it. Let me just try to maybe open it up on one screen. And let me just show you the green monstrosity. Let me switch back. YouTube's been plaguing me with commercials for Visa, of all things, where you can get a credit card with KCD motifs. Really, I haven't seen that one. Let me switch to the desktop screen. I think this should be working. Yeah, I hope you can see it. So as you can see, this is the green monstrosity that we were talking about. So yeah, it's like a little alien guy that's in the ads for Alza. He has like a super annoying voice. I have to admit, yeah, the voice is quite annoying, but in a certain way, because the voice is so annoying, I think that's why people like keep remembering that. And whenever you hear Alza, people immediately connected with this, as you call it, green monstrosity. But I think it's a good marketing, that was a good marketing idea. Somebody had a good idea with this guy. Yeah. Embracer, yeah. So they have now, let's say, more money from Embracer. So that's the Alza green monstrosity. I don't even know what he's called. Like, I think we call him here Alzak. It's like the guy for Alza or from Alza. I don't know how you call it, Louis, so let me know. I call him, I think, Alzak. Yeah, when we are already sharing the screen, let me just switch to the other tabs. And as you can see, so this is the post from Željko. Let me just switch back so I can see you. So he posted on X. Yeah, absolutely, even better than the infamous Fofoladok. Yeah, that's another ad. We will have to share some stuff like that on the streams. Alzak, yeah, okay, so that's the same in Slovak then. Yeah, so Željko has been posting on X some important updates for Pompeii the Legacy. And as you can see, one important bit here is Steam playtest sign-ups are open. So in case one of you is interested in signing up for a playtest for the game, I think Željko would be really happy. You can do that. There is a link. I will post again, as usual, after the stream ends. I will post all the necessary links in the description below. And I will probably also do a separate vid on this one, where you can then find the links as well. But he released the 40 minutes of gameplay, which I'm going to show you. And then the signups for the playtesting are open. And I think anybody who is really like fond of this type of games could try to do that, could try to, you know, sign up for the playtesting. It's a unique opportunity. I think it would be great. Unfortunately, I do not have the necessary time. Otherwise, if I would actually sign up myself, because I was really looking forward to the game, but I'm just afraid that I won't really have the time for the playtesting and for giving some more feedback. But I did, at least like from what I have seen. And the game is already on Steam. It's already on Steam for quite some time. I did already mention it previously on the streams. And you can wishlist it. So if you like what you see, go ahead and go to Steam and then you can wishlist it. Yeah, Louis is writing. Sorry, I'll shut up for a moment. Go ahead with the news. And no worries. I really like it when people are writing. So I really enjoy when I get some feedback, and also, you know, you confirmed, for example, Alza or Embracer. Yeah, so it's good when you chime in. No worries about that. Good, so let me show you a little bit from the gameplay. Let me switch to the vid here, but I will probably like lower a little bit the sound. And I don't want to play too much because, as I said, I would really like you to rather go to the original vid and watch it for yourself. I don't want to, let's say, steal the views. I think it's really worth, and there is some interesting stuff. So let me just maybe play it, and I will try to maybe do it on a large screen, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. Oh yeah, okay. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. I'm not sure if you can hear the audio. Let me know, Louis, if you can hear the audio, and if it's not too loud, please, that would be great. But I like, if you look at the details, I really like how detailed the, not just the buildings are, but you can see the people. And you can even see animals. Like, he will then scroll a little bit like closer, and even the environments. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, thank you. I really like the details here. If you look at that, I think there will be visible on one of the buildings. In one of the buildings, like there will be some animals, and you can even see like the animals moving. So it's really a great attention to detail. And I like how easy it is to position the buildings. You can see the grid. You can see where the road is. It's nice. And basically the game, I did mention it, but I will just quickly, let's say, do a small recap. The game spans, I think, about 200 years. It is after Pompeii has been completely like gone, and there was a complete destruction. And as you can see, I think he moves with the camera also to the original spot where the original Pompeii has been, and basically you return there. Yeah, that's where you can see the ruins. You will return there as the head of a family, where you will be assigned to rebuild Pompeii, and you will have to like create it again. And it spans a couple of generations, of course, because, as I said, it's going like for about 200 years. So there are a couple of generations that will like continue the work. And I do like it. I think he also did mention it, that he tried to be, let's say, historically accurate in terms of who was in charge, who was in power at the time, you know, in Rome, and who was in the area. So I think it's giving you a vibe of like really historical accuracy, whether it's the buildings, but whether it's also the people whom you are going to meet in the game and with whom you are going to talk. So I really like how he did set it up. And as you can see, there are some animals walking around. So you have all sorts of resources, stones, trees, of course, then the animals. You have all the resources there for a starting point. It's not so bad. And then, of course, you have to start building the city up. That's the typical classical city builder. But I really like it, and I also like the music, I have to say. Yeah, that's a nice looking Roman insula. Yeah, you even know the correct names. I am not really such a, let's say, historical fan in terms of knowing exactly the names of, you know, the buildings. But yeah, I really like how much effort he put into all the details. And I also like the UI, I have to say. So I think it's relatively easy to understand. That was the first thing that I commented as well when I was watching it. Like, I really like the UI, and the instructions are, I think, pretty clear. And the weather patterns, that was something that I did like as well. Like, he did play around with the weather, so you do have these weather changes. It's not like non-stop, constant, let's say, only good weather or something. The only thing I told to Željko was that, yeah, I think it's a little bit too much rain. When you notice it when you watch the vid for a little bit longer, so there is quite a bit of rain, actually. Yeah, but if you look at the details, I mean, it's awesome when he scrolls like into a close-up. It's really awesome. Even the grass. So I always admire when you imagine that there is an indie game dev who is alone and who's doing all of this alone. I mean, that's awesome to create something like this. We have to keep that in mind, you know, because people are used to the popular games which are mainly created by bigger studios, where a lot of people are working on that, and here you see the effort really of one person, and that's awesome. I was going to say, almost looks distracting if it changes abruptly. Yeah, but I do like the fact, at least, like, that he even included this kind of weather patterns, you know. So that's a nice touch, that it's not like static, the environment. A one-man job that looks like this, that's magnificent. Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning it. That's why I was paying attention to this for quite some time already, because I have noticed like his posts, and then I checked out the first what he showed from the game, either like very small vids or, you know, just some screenshots. And yeah, it's raining again now. And it was looking so great that it was really hard for me to believe like this is something that somebody is creating alone, and that's awesome. Yeah. So you can also see whether you're posting the house or that workshop. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a workshop close to the resources or not. Yeah, I like how he's building it, and I like how it looks like, and the fact that you can actually zoom out that much, that you can see from the top the entire layout, and then also to zoom in and see the details. So that's really great that you have this opportunity to do that. Then again, this is not the first time I'm amazed by a single dev game's graphical polish. Yeah, which oftentimes that when you see something like this, that's when I have to like laugh when I compare it with the AAA games that lately come out, and you can see something like this. It looks so awesome. It's done by one person or a very, very small studio. If it's a different game that there's like 3 or 4 people maybe working on it, then that's it. And when they release the game, it looks better like a game from a AAA studio these days. And that's something to say. So yeah, kudos to anyone who can do something like this. So yeah, I will stop the vid here because, as I said, I would rather prefer if you would check it out over there on his page. So we've seen about 8 minutes. It is about half an hour long, and I did also provide him some comment, as you can see here. So I wrote from my side what I have noticed when I was watching it before. It looks and feels alive. That was because of the details, like even the animals. I love the details in the environments. The music is beautiful. I like the sound effects. They are really nicely done. The weather changes are great, but a bit too much rain for my taste, as I mentioned. The UI is easily understandable with the pop-up windows. So that was my first impressions. That's what I also wrote here. If you like it, then go to that vid and go to the the Steam page. You have here on that Steam page actually not just like the game, and you cannot just wishlist the game, but you have also here the dev blogs. So he was posting small information tidbits about the game, and you can see, for example, here like trade and logistics. And he has a little bit of an update here on that one. So if you click on it, the dev blog will open and you'll see more information here. He's putting in maps. He's also explaining how it will work. So I think that's great that he provides this information already upfront, and that you can read a little bit more how the system works when you actually like buy the game. So I really do enjoy the level of detail, and as well as all the details that he's providing. And one additional thing which I think is great, and you can see basically that yes, this is a game that others are noticing as well. So the PC games made an article about him as well, and about Pompeii the Legacy. And there is a little bit of an information here, as I said. So you have some background information. And then when they were reviewing what they think about the game, and there is also an interview or some discussion with the developer Željko. So I would advise you to go through this as well. I will link it here too. But I really enjoy what I'm seeing so far, and even though I am rarely playing city builders, I still like them a lot, but they take a lot of time. So that's, I would say, there's like the third type of game that I like. First ones are the RPGs, then come the point and click games, and the city builders are the third. But I nevertheless, I have wishlisted the game, and I will definitely play it when it comes out, at least a little bit, just to get the feeling for the game and see how far I can come. So let me switch back a little bit. By the way, speaking of solo devs, check out Ghost of a Tale, a wonderful stealth game. Okay, I will do that. Good, thank you. It's always nice to see also some new like games, or someone who knows some more games which are done by indie game devs. Honestly, to put it this way, when I've seen lately what the AAA game studios are putting out, I think it's time to put more emphasis on the indie game devs, or maybe the AA studios, and maybe just support them a little bit more. These people don't get enough, exposition in the media. They rarely get covered, like here, Željko by the PC games article, and I think it's a pity because they really create great games, and they don't have themselves that much, let's say, money for marketing, and all the more they do rely on, the good word that the people put out there, and on maybe YouTubers, or maybe some independent articles like this. So yeah, if you know of some other like indie game devs and some indie games which are good, let me know, because I would like to cover them always as well at least on the live streams going forward too, and give them some more space so that more people can see that. Good, so that's regarding Pompeii the Legacy. As I said, I'm really looking forward. This one really looks nice, as you could see. And then, I'm going to show you the from the Blood of Dawnwalker, the info that we have, or the concept art. Let me just quickly show it to you. I think you can see it, yeah. So this one was like one of the concept arts that was released after the video that I've made. If you remember, I've made a vid about 3 weeks ago with an update on the characters. We've got some more information on the characters, and there was also some of the new concept art already released. And this one was released after I did the video, so I was like keeping it aside. What I have noticed, that my first impression here was, okay, this looks very like Witchery like. So this was giving me heavy Witcher vibes, especially if you think of like Novigrad. Yeah, this one looks really similar, but it still has like its own flavor, I would say. And I do like the atmosphere. I like how it looks, and it's kind of a weird thing with this game. What I have noticed, they said, of course, that during the night it will be like everything like more threatening, and it will give you a very dark atmosphere, of course, because of the vampires. But what I've noticed when I was looking at the pictures, which are like from the day, even during the day, there's like a gloomy, dark atmosphere, like something's in the air, and I think it's also here. I don't know whether it's the slight fog in the background or because it's like fall, during fall, but it gives me this like dark, gloomy vibes, even though it's like during the day. So yeah, it's kind of a good representation, I think, of what the atmosphere will be in the game. Louis is writing, reminds me of unsuccessfully trying to play the old Caesar free city builder as a kid. That one was not bad, but I think still at least my most favorite one to this day is Pharaoh and Cleopatra. I have to say, I keep coming back to that one and playing that one for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I like that one the most, to be honest. Let me show you the other one. So this one was also posted, and again, I know I will repeat myself, but again, this gives me heavy Witcher vibes. This is like a bog during the day. Again, it's foggy. You can see it's clearly during fall or late fall, and it just gives me shivers. So yeah, I think it will be very consistent with the overall atmosphere of the game. And then the third thing which they have posted was the secret history of Vale Sangora. I may the one and true God in his all-encompassing mercy steady my hand and guide my quill. For the things I am about to commit to these pages are hard to comprehend and even harder to describe. May he guard my soul as I write of devil's doings. And I think this is the name of Ambrose, the original name from his side, Alberto Staurinos. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am not sure, but I think they did the same also with Brancis. I think he has his original name is different, so they call him now differently in the game. But when they talk about his history, you can see his real name, and he was called a little bit different. So I think this one is about Ambrose, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. So they did already like release these little bits and pieces, and I'm looking forward when they release a little bit more. I'm not sure if we even have an estimate for the release date. I am not so sure. I don't want to say something which is not correct. Sorry, I'd love to comment, but I'm tuning in from a train and Wi-Fi is being complete hours. No worries. I'm actually surprised that you have managed to tune in from a train. Definitely a better train than over here then. Yeah, but thanks. That's all the more appreciated that you take the time to join in from a train ride. Yeah, awesome. So these were the little bits and pieces which we've got from the Blood of Dawnwalker, that there is not much more at this time. So whenever there is something more, I will let you know either via a short like update vid, or maybe I mention it again on a live stream. It depends on how much it is. I mean, they have just released these 3 new posts, or 2 concept arts and 1 post with the history. I don't think it's really worth making a vid, so I didn't really want to make like a 3, 4, 5 minutes vid. It doesn't really make much sense, so I just wanted to post it here. The concept art does resemble Vizima and the outskirts. Oh yeah, exactly. It's even more looking like Vizima rather than Novigrad. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the swampy gloom, exactly. Yes. Yeah, now that you are mentioning it, I was wondering, like, the first thing that I thought about was Novigrad, but that's because the last game that I was playing was from the original trilogy, was Witcher 3. But now that you are saying it, yeah, if I remember from the first one, which is a long time ago, but yeah, Vizima. Oh yeah, that looks exactly like that. So that's why I'm saying it gives me really these Witcher vibes. And I think many people have noticed it, that it really is like coming from the same people. They cannot really say it's not the same people who have been responsible for the creation of the original Witcher trilogy. You can clearly see their handiwork here, I think. Yeah. So that much for the Blood of Dawnwalker, for the update, just a few bits and pieces. And then we do have something regarding the Exodus. There was a gameplay reveal stream that's already quite some time ago, I think 1.5 months ago, and they have just now released like a short vid. It has like less than 12 minutes, as you can see, which is just showing a couple of highlights, and I think with some interesting information. I will probably play a little bit from that vid as well, but I wanted to mention one thing in case you do not know this channel. I would highly advise to check it out. So there is a channel by a guy, actually it's a Czech guy. We did talk a little bit over on X. We were in contact and we were discussing a little bit the vids and Exodus, and I really appreciate what he's posting here. He has kind of an irregular post cycle, I would say. That's simply because of him not really having that much time. But what I like on his vids, because there's a lot of people making vids on Exodus now, let's be honest. What I like on his vids, he is actually providing you some background information from the books, or for the original book, because the second is not out yet. And he is explaining what we have seen that will be in the game, how it's connected to the information from the book. And he's giving you a lot of the background from the book. So it's great, I think, for those people who didn't have the time to read the book, because it's like really huge. It's a thick book. It's really huge. I have shown it on one stream, so it's a huge book. And not everyone has the time or the will to read through it. And I think that's great on his vids, that he gives you this kind of background information, so you really don't have to read the book, but it will explain to you a little bit better some of the stuff which was just briefly mentioned maybe in the vids or on the pages of the game. So I would advise you to check it out. I think he deserves definitely more subscribers than he has. Like, he has some 436, as you can see, and I think he deserves more. He also did talk a little bit about The Witcher, and he was also talking about Dragon Age, the Veilguard, etc. So he does talk about like a variety of games, but lately he was like putting more emphasis on Exodus, and I think he has like really good takes on the game and some good information. A fellow countryman, I'll be sure to check him out. That's from Louis. Yeah, that definitely I would suggest that you do that. When we were talking, he was mentioning, like I said, that he doesn't really have like a regular update because he has some other responsibilities too. But I think when he sees that there is more interest in his vids, which I think are like deserve more interest, then he might like come back a little bit more to making the vids a bit more often if the times will allow him. So I just wanted to show his channel and introduce him a little bit. And then Witcher 1 was insanely atmospheric. It rained in Vizima and people ran to hide under the roofs while bitching about bad weather. Yes, exactly. Yes, I mean, these are the little details which I am enjoying on the original games, whether we are talking about the Witcher, let's say Witcher 1, Witcher 2 even, if we are talking about the Dragon Age Origins, if we are talking about, I don't know, the first Mass Effect, there were so many like little details in these games. That's why the people fell in love with it, right? It wasn't just the story, it wasn't just the characters and how they were written, but I think it was also in general the like entire setting and the worlds that you were experiencing felt alive. And I think it was because of these kind of details. So yeah, you are right. That is something that is now popping up back in my memory when you are mentioning it. Yeah. There were so many like little things and details there. Yeah. Good. So let me check back one thing. There was a post by the game itself or the game devs on their page, which is a Ill Met by Moonlight, a bond across time. I'm not going to, of course, to read through it all because it's a, let's say, a longer post, but it is again something where the game devs are trying to, let's say, give you more background information about the game without making it an info dump. They are creating small stories, and within those stories, they are introducing either some people or something that's going on or some tech or how things work. And I think here it's really very nice. I have especially like this one. I think it says a lot about the impact of the time dilation that the travelers will experience on their personal lives. And I think this one is really very nicely explained here in this portion. This moon was on nobody's radar, but she'd followed maps unearthed in Elequary dig sites. The culture that had left its ruins across the now humanized world had a handful of sites out in other systems, pilgrimage destinations. Their civilization had been stable enough and they'd been long-lived enough that the distances were trivial to them. For Elise, I think it's Elise, it meant a change of faces, city plans, geopolitics, but that was how it went the moment your yearning to wander took you beyond a single sun. You learned not to get attached to what you left behind, and I think that's the important bit here. Just as well, seeing as I'm not making it back, nobody would mourn her, nobody would raise a glass. They'd always assume she'd be back in a year, a decade, a generation. Everyone who knew her would grow old and die in the assumption that she'd return one day. So imagine from the person's perspective who's traveling, the traveler's perspective, knowing that you don't know when you come back and you don't even know if the people you knew will be still alive and if what you left behind will be still there. I think that must be a weird feeling. On one hand, it's traveling across the universe and exploring and getting to see a lot of new stuff. But on the other hand, you have basically nothing that you can be attached to aside probably from the ship that you are traveling on, because everything else that you leave behind, it will just, let's say, age differently than you. And I don't know if I could live like that, to be honest. It's just kind of a weird feeling. And that's something which I like on this game, because we are used to, like from the sci-fi games, or even from like sci-fi movies and TV shows, etc. What we are used to is most of the time you are seeing something where the people are traveling, they are basically moving, let's say in quick jumps, and they don't really experience any like time discrepancy between the people on board of that ship and then the other people who are left behind on the planets. And when they come back, the people have barely aged or haven't aged at all, and they are the same age as the people who were on board of the ship. So there is really no difference. And I think this is the interesting bit on this game, that this will be a game which really plays around with this time dilation and with the effects that it will have on the people and also on the planets. Yeah, so I think that's what's unique for me here. It doesn't make or break a game, but it adds a lot of soul. Yeah, you can see a lot of these discussions in connection to About. Have you ever read any of Lem's books? He approached space travel in a very realistic way and also dealt with the changes that spacefarers experience upon return. No, I will be honest, no, I haven't. Unfortunately, as I'm getting older, I realize I have less and less time to read. So yeah, it's not something that I'm enjoying. I would prefer to read more. But I will definitely have to check out his books. When you are saying that there is this time dilation also taking an effect on the people, it is very interesting. I think that's something where, for the sake of the convenience for the reader or the viewer or the gamer, the creators of these kind of sci-fis, the, let's say, usual ones, they don't want to go really into these details because they don't want to like play around with the effects, and don't want to like think about in a, let's say, longer term. You have a certain set of the world and of the universe, and that is maybe aging just a few years while you are reading the book or playing the game. And in this game, or if you are really like being very realistic and are playing with the time dilation, then you would have to do really huge time jumps. And I think that's very challenging for any writer to do. So that's why I appreciate it even more to see it in this game. I'm really curious to see what it will be like directly in the game then. The previous two posts were about the little details. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And you were mentioning you can see a lot of these discussions in connection to Avowed. So in a good sense or in a bad sense? That would be my question. I will be honest, I really haven't had the time to check out the whole discussion about Avowed. I just have seen a couple of posts, and like I said, I want to watch Spell's video because he has like very compact, let's say, reviews, and he puts his information in a compact manner, so I definitely want to check out the vid, but I didn't have the time. That's the problem. Oh, John is here. Oh, bother, I'm late. No worries. I went through basically through the first indie game, the Pompeii, the Legacy, and we were watching some concept art, new concept art from the Blood of Dawnwalker. Now we are at Exodus, so just a quick update. If ever you get to read one Lem book, I'd recommend Tales of Perks the Pilot. Perks, okay, the Pilot, okay. That sounds interesting. So it will be from a position of a person that's traveling, I'm guessing. Good, thank you. I will definitely check that one out. I have to take a note after the stream. So yeah, that is from the page which they have posted. And then let me just quickly go back to the vid maybe, because I think there was something interesting. I will again make it a little bit more quiet. And I will just play a little bit from the stream. And if it's too loud, let me know.
So today
And I will probably remove my face for
at the game itself, but
small
also
moment.
some of the world first gameplay. Let's go ahead and meet the team.
I'm Chad Robertson, the general manager at Archetype Entertainment. I'd like to introduce James Olin, our studio head. James.
So yeah, I'm the head of the studio and the creative head for the Exodus franchise. We're also having a special guest star, the guy behind Secret Level, Tim Miller.
It is my honor to be here as a longtime friend of James, and we've been working with them on Exodus for a while.
I heard today we may have something else here. So how about we see some world premiere gameplay from this game?
Preparing to transfer now. This is your last chance to bail, June.
Do it.
Good, I'm back, sorry. My apologies. I just took a small break.
Loaded weapon is a hell of a
I
way
think
to
we've
greet your
seen
new
this in
partner.
the original trailer, but I think what's important here is the information that we are getting from
I'm not
the
just here to look pretty.
game devs directly. There were a couple of questions that they received and they replied to them, and there was some interesting info actually when they were answering them. I'm hoping that they will be talking about it soon. John, I don't play first-person games. Yeah, it's the same here as well. I did say it as well, that's why I'm currently also not really following up on Kingdom Come Deliverance because it's first-person, and yeah, did already mention a little bit the controversy with Louis.
This place is forbidden.
Let me check if I can skip to the point where there is actually something that they are saying.
Subname to it. So what exactly is Exodus and what are the travelers?
The entire setting is based around the Exodus from Earth, and it's also something that we've called the journeys that the traveler makes when they are going off to other star systems. Now, the traveler is essentially what the player plays as. They're very influential people because they're like tip of the spear on technology, but they're also the people who are making political decisions and societal decisions that impact.
That's the important bit here.
To evolve.
Yeah, there's an element to them too that's elite, and you know, it's special to be a traveler, and so we really want to celebrate that in terms of the growth of the player throughout the experience that players will have.
One of those things that they explained to me early on, that you have these disparate worlds all spread out, and they all have different levels of technology that sometimes, you know, extremely far apart, but they don't necessarily help each other. It's not like there's one humanity and everybody is moving towards a singular bright future. It's very competitive environment. So
I think that's the important
like
bit.
The new humans that are just off the ark, that just arrived, they're put on backwater worlds and they have to go scavenge other technology to bootstrap themselves into this new society, which is pretty cool.
Let me stop it for a little bit. I think that was the important bit here. It will be very competitive. That means for me that whenever you decide to go somewhere to a specific world and gather whatever you can there will be probably other groups of people, and I don't want to say aliens because technically there are no aliens, everybody has evolved from humans, but you might encounter other, let's say, factions there, and I think this will be also very interesting how you deal with them. So yeah, they are talking about like more details from the game. So let me play maybe a little bit more and a couple of segments, and then maybe chat a little bit more about it.
Who are we going to be playing? Who was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration for June? Was it based on someone or something in particular, or do you guys have, what is your vision for this character?
It's kind of a complicated question because June has to have a personality. You know, there's a lot of acting that goes into all those scenes, but at the same time, June has to be your character. The choices you make kind of help define who June is as a person. Where did June come from? I don't want to say this because all my writers would murder me, but like, Indiana Jones times Paul Mahdi, but Paul Atreides, because June has the serious task of, leading their world, but they're also a fun person, as you can see in the clips there, and they're also going on adventures. So it's kind of that combination.
And he or she has an incredible backstory that we will reveal at sometime. And Tim helped us create that story too, that we'll share once the time comes.
With this trailer, we're seeing all sorts of new things. We're seeing enemy types, we're seeing new environments, most importantly, we're seeing how the player interacts with them. What approach are you guys taking with this game? What's going to be, not necessarily the minute-to-minute gameplay, but what's going to be our more overarching style of gameplay?
We're kind of doing what we know best, which is while you do go on missions, and those missions have lots of optional areas that you'll be able to explore, you can decide how you want to explore the missions, like which ones you want to go on first, and how you're going to explore them. And then there might be things that you do on your home world that unlock stuff on missions that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Yeah, so it's very much similar to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic or a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age Origins. That's the model that we have gone with.
I'm not just here to look pretty.
Okay, have you noticed the small pause when he says like Dragon Age Origins? He definitely doesn't want to be probably associated with the latest game that BioWare has put out, which is Failguard. So I did have a good laugh on that one, to be honest. But there was some interesting stuff, which, as I understand, okay, we will have a character that we will be able to create, because they said he or she. So we will have a protagonist that we can create. So there will be definitely a character creator, as I understood, where you can pick your character. And then from what they said, it will be something similar to Shepard. I'm still having this feeling because in a certain sense, Shepard was, let's say, a predefined character in certain characteristics, but then also you did shape the personality a little bit with how you responded and how you interacted with whom, and if you even interacted with some of the people or not. So I think it will be something similar, which is again just giving me heavy Mass Effect vibes. And also the other bit which was very interesting for me was that they mentioned that you might unlock something on your homeworld that you would normally not have in the missions where you are going to. So I think it will have a big replayability, the game, depending on what choices you do at what time. And what kind of technology you gather and how you are going to use it. They mentioned it already before, like in what way you are going to use it, whether you develop this or that. So I think this game is going to have a huge replayability because there will be so many options that you can do from at least like from the perspective of how you deal with the technology, that you will have different impacts on your homeworld and also probably on yourself. Let me go a little bit to the discussion here. So we discussed first the Avowed, and I was asking what was that about. And Louis is replying, it was in a bad sense. Unfortunately, the interactivity is very low. And I concur with Spell Shield that they unnecessarily turned the game to first person, where it would have worked fine as isometric. I think they have added third person because people were complaining originally when they have seen that it's just first person. Then they did add, I think, the third person option later in. Now you can you can choose which style you are going to play. But again, it's still third person is not third person. It's not the same as this isometric view. So it's a question whether it's like over the shoulder view or if it's the isometric view. And yeah, I haven't seen the original game, but if people were used to a specific style, and if that one had the isometric style, for example, then yeah, I understand that people will not be happy with the change now in the new game. It depends. It depends. If it was first person already before, then it would make sense they wanted to continue with it. As I said, I don't know what the original game looked like, to be honest. So I wasn't really following up on that one. And I will be honest, for me, the let's say, aesthetics of the characters is not exactly the greatest, because from what I have seen, some of the characters do remind me quite a lot on the what's it called, the clickers from Last of Us, you know, these mushrooms heads. Yeah, I'm not fond of these aesthetics, to be honest. Time dilation was a big part of Pornell's Co-Dominion books. That's coming from John. Yeah, that's why I'm saying there are some authors who do write it and who are using it. But if you consider it like on a large scale, the vast majority of whether it's games or books or TV or other media, usually then they don't really want to go there, and they don't really want to like deal with this. I mean, just take the latest example, what's so super marketed now and what's really like one of the best sci-fis lately in the past few years, Dune, right? Again, you don't see that effects of any time dilation there, not really that much, and it's mainly like focused on the here and now, and that's exactly the point. Like in the majority of the media, you see these types of sci-fi stories rather than stories that deal with the time dilation. Louise is writing, I've not been paying much attention to Exodus, but it's hilarious how much it resembles Andromeda. Even the main dude looks a bit like Ryder's Dead. Yes, I think the original one, because technically you could have adjusted Ryder's Dead. That's what I did. So when I was playing Andromeda and I created the Riders, let's say, you could have like the looks of the brother and the dad adjusted to the character that I was creating. So it did look a little bit different. But yeah, it is resembling a little bit. In general, it's very Mass Effect-y, I would say, right? But I do not wonder, because you have technically people working here on that game that were working originally on the Mass Effect game. So of course the resemblance will be here. It's the same as what I have mentioned also with the Blood of Dawnwalker. When you have seen the concept arts, you could clearly see that those are the same people that have created The Witcher, because it looked exactly like from a Witcher game. So yeah, we were discussing with Louis and we definitely said that one of them looks like Vizima. So yeah, it is the handiwork, as I said, from certain people, and it doesn't matter that it's now a different studio under a different name, but it's still the same people, and you can clearly see like their art style, and that's reflected here as well. And Snackish Raccoon is here. Hi, nice to see you. Yeah, most use Vorb by Widget Magic. That's from John, exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, it's whether it's I don't know, Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, or whether it's a game like Mass Effect, it was always like having very little time differences, and here we are going to see something different, and that's why I think it's so unique. Why the game is also so anticipated, even though I think they should do like more marketing, not in a sense like throwing out more money, but they should maybe like hype it up a little bit more. Snackish, Louis, don't scare me like that. Okay. You mean the mentions of Andromeda, right? No, I really think it's just the Mass Effect feeling that we are getting here from this released footage that we have seen so far. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, to be honest. I really want to play the game when it comes out and see for myself if it's true, for example, what I've mentioned with this replayability. I'm definitely hoping that until then I will be able to read the book, because I did start, but I just don't have the time to finish, and just, yeah, every time when I go to sleep, I just look at the buckets next to my bed, and I'm just so sad when I can see that I didn't really move that much in reading the book. Snackish, yes, Sisa, I'm still not over Andromeda. Come on, I hope when this game comes out, it will be a little bit like a repairing your feeling from Mass Effect, because it really looks cool, to be honest. And I do have, let's say, some hope that it will be better than anything that Zombieware currently is about to put out. Apropos, I don't know what you think about the next Mass Effect 5. I mean, there were a couple of posts in the meantime from Mike Gamble again on social media where he had, like, let's say, very based takes. And of course, the usual shields didn't like it and they were all outraged that he has some based takes. So, yeah, I mean, it does give me a tiny bit of hope that the game will not be a complete flop like it was with Veilguard, but still, I do keep in mind, and I keep reminding people of that, it's still a studio that belongs to EA, and EA still has ESG and DEI programs. Whether they call them DEI or something completely different, none of these corporations are going to change like from one day to another, just like that. The current programs that they have in place, which they were working on for a couple of years. And so I think that they will only just rename them, but the ideas behind it and what they will push into the games will be still the same. It will be less visible. I think they will be more careful with hiding it. That's what will happen. But I don't think that they are like going to, completely let it go. And that's what I'm afraid of. That it doesn't matter that you have there someone like Mike Gamble who might be based and have base takes. If his, let's say, EA overlords are some stupid fanatics, when we have seen it on some of the posts which they have released, which are completely removed from reality, and they say that Veilguard has flopped because it wasn't a live service game. I mean, that I haven't heard a more stupid take, to be honest, than that one in years. So if you have people like that leading the company, then you can have 100 based Mike Gambles in Zombieware, and the game will still probably not be good because the EA guys will make sure that it's having the right components, let's say, right? Yeah, I'm going into the discussion here. You started writing a lot, guys. I like it. Lois is writing, sorry, I've missed the last 5 minutes or so. A fallen trees blocking the train tracks. I had to make a few phone calls. Oh, good lord. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you don't get stuck for too long. Yeah, sorry for that. Snakish is writing, honestly, I know it's petty. I'm still not over Mass Effect 3's ending, to be honest, which is exactly why I've said I am only willing to play Mass Effect 3 with the happy ending mod or not at all. I don't even want to see the original ending, and this is also something that I am afraid of, that if they are going to create Mass Effect 5, they will have to canonize one of the endings most probably, and we could already see it in one of these like teaser trailers that they have put out. You could see the destroyed relays, so they will probably canonize the destroy ending, and they will probably like canonize certain choices, which again will just make a lot of people unhappy, especially if they have made different choices, right? So it's not a great start to a game if you see that they just canonized something that isn't your choice and you have to now work with what's there. I don't know how much you will be able to import your decisions or how much you can like work with them in the game, but it's not a good sign for me, to be honest. Okay, what do we have? John is writing, I have a custom Skyrim follower that says, imagine if an Argonian and a Khajiit had a baby. Man, that would be an ugly baby. Okay. I'm not sure if, I mean, that's not the first time I'm seeing a debate like this. Imagine if this and that would have a baby. That would be an ugly baby. That's, I think, in many of the fantasy and sci-fi games. I don't think it's a good debate because it does conjure up some images in my head which are not so great. I'll argue forever that Andromeda was the path forward. Grumble. That's from John. I think the idea wasn't so bad, and what I did like on it, and which is also why I gave it actually not such a bad review, honestly. I did enjoy many aspects of the game, and one of them was basically that they did focus on a new protagonist. I'm not talking about the execution and the writing. Yeah, the execution wasn't exactly the greatest, and the writing wasn't the best. We discussed that. But I liked the idea. It was exactly what I was previously already criticizing in one of the vids where I said, like, people are no longer creative, and that's exactly when you return to an established franchise or universe like this, and you see that they are keep pulling back the same people, no matter even if they have closed their story originally already 1 or 2 games ago. They keep pulling them back because, it worked so far and it worked before. So let's just use the same character, and it's just getting tiring because there's so many other opportunities. So this is something that I actually liked on Andromeda. It's taking place in a different galaxy. It's a different protagonist. You meet a new different species, and you have a very different new plot. And that's exactly what I enjoyed on the game. As I said, yes, the execution wasn't the best, but still I really enjoyed the idea. And that's why I'm also actually looking forward to, for example, Exodus. Because it's a completely new, different idea. Finally, something new, something different, right? Let me go back again to the discussion here. I like it. Like, there's many people now chiming in. I really enjoy that. Yeah, Snackish is saying, yeah, what your boss says goes. That's to the situation between Zombieware and EA. Yeah, and unfortunately, we have seen the very bad takes that especially the EA CEO had, like when he said his nonsense about Dragon Age Veilguard, that it should have been a live service game. No, nobody wants that. I mean, many people were just staring at that post and saying, okay, you're completely removed from reality. It's like he didn't even ever hear a single word of complaint or criticism that all the thousands of people had. He's just living in like his own bubble. Yeah. John is saying, I do not tread the dark paths of Reddit. Be happy. I do look at it just from time to time when I see that there is like some new questions posted which are interesting for me, like some good topics, or when there is something new about certain games. But yeah, the paths of Reddit are quite dark. I agree with you. You have some good discussions, guys. John is writing, in my Mass Effect 3 ending for dumb reason, I wanted Joker and Edie to have a happy ever after. Me as well, imagine that. Me too. I was actually finding it quite cute, like when you had the scene when you were asking, Edie was asking like for some advice, Shepard for some advice, and Shepard is saying something like the chemistry must be right between the two people, and Edie's reaction is like, okay, so I have to inject some chemicals. I found it so hilarious. So yeah, it was a typical point of view from a synthetic and not even thinking about the biological stuff. So yeah, it was kind of fun to see the dialogues there. And they had some good interactions, like Edie and Joker. So yeah, that was quite fun to watch. I mean, it was kind of weird, but it was also kind of fun. Yeah, I did enjoy it, definitely. Yeah, so that much for Joker would be all healed, lol. Yeah. He did have this brittle bone disease, right? So that, yeah, just somehow, I just can't imagine. Okay. Good. What else do I have? Let me just quickly jump back to the posts which I have here. Oh, yeah. Sid Meier's Civilization. I just wanted to show you something. If you look at the Civilization, the reception is so far like it has mixed reviews, but if you look at the posts which are like lately, the reviews which are posted lately, like all of it is just thumbs down. So if you look at it, like, yeah, here's one positive review, but in general, like the latest ones are all really complaining, and I think what the people were mostly complaining about were like bugs. I think somebody here also mentioned it. Yeah, TLDR, great addition to the Civ series, astoundingly beautiful graphical fidelity, interesting new game mechanics, but horrendous lack of quality of life, stupefying UI, and bottom of the barrel sell practices. And someone also mentioned it, and I heard it already a couple of times. Bugs. Like, it's a super buggy game, and there was even someone writing like, this looks like it's in the alpha stage. Many people are not really happy with what they have seen and what they have experience so far. I think there were also some like mechanics changed. That was I think the evolution of the civilization evolution tree, like, I don't know how to call it, like if you are choosing what next skills you are going to learn, or what next technology, etc., this like scientific path. I think they've changed it. It's no longer this kind of tree or this path that we had in the previous games, and people were complaining that they don't really like it. So that is another disappointment that we see this year, which I find honestly quite like, I'm sad about it, because it's just one game after another that comes out that's either completely like being negatively received or has mixed reviews. And as I mentioned at the start of the stream, most of the times it's games that people have been waiting for, partially like for years for, and this is what we get. And I think people are already starting to be quite frustrated, which is also why we see like so much, let's say, controversy going on, and people, like going overboard with their criticism already, because I think they are frustrated. I don't necessarily think that some of the games are that bad as their reviews. It's just that people are, like I said, so frustrated that every little detail already is already like pissing them off, and people are already going overboard with the criticism because they are just fed up with all of the games that come out being buggy or failing or having something bad in them, and people are just tired of that, I think. So yeah, it's the disappointment, I would say, overall. Let me switch back so I can see your comments. Snackish is writing, I wanted my sheps to have a happy ever after with their Lee eyes. More so Edie has to die, but we can save her on a USB until we develop technology again. I was probably one of the few people who chose the synthesis ending. I know it went against a lot of the stuff that was in the previous games, but in the end, like after the entire culmination of everything, when you arrive at this point in the original ending, when I was playing it, I think I've played it twice. And I've chosen once the synthesis ending and once the destroy, but because I wanted to see the difference. But my like preference for the ending at that point was synthesis. So yeah, I did basically merge the synthetics and the organics. And everybody was alive. Edie, the Gav, actually in my games the Quarians were not around because I am not fond of Tali, I will be honest. And yeah, she wasn't around in the third game to, let's say, broker the peace between the Geth and the Quarians. In that case, you had no other option than just to choose one of the factions, and in my case it was the Geth. So yeah, I have, like, let's say, the more atypical choices in the game. Hello, is sweating profusely as a heretic that still hasn't played Mass Effect. You should. You should. I mean, if you ever have the time, I would suggest you really do that. I mean, the entire Legendary Edition, when you wait for a sale, usually during a sale, it's for some like really low price that you can buy it, and the Legendary Edition is basically all free games. So you get free games for the price of one, let me put it that way. And I would definitely start with the first one and see how you like it. I mean, yeah, the last one, I think in the Legendary Edition, I think they have included this fixed ending, or what it was. I'm not sure, because as I said, my game is heavily modded and I have the happy ending mod where everybody lives, even Shepard. But I think they did fix the original botched ending in the Legendary Edition. So in the Legendary Edition, you get a little bit of a different outcome already than in the original Mass Effect 3. But still, I think they did a lot of like little fixes in the Legendary Edition. Some of the stuff that was not really well working. Let me just say from the top of my head, in the first game, in Mass Effect 1, you had an issue that when you were in combat and you wanted to hide behind some barrier or something, a crate or whatever, the hiding mechanics were not always working. So for me, when I was playing the original game and on a higher difficulty, I did die a lot, and not necessarily because I would be so bad in playing it, but simply because Shepard just didn't hide behind something so fast as was needed and just got shot. So yeah, I think that's one of the things which they fixed. They did fix these little kind of bugs and little details. So the Legendary Edition is now quite a good polished version of the game, so I would suggest you play those if you have some time. Snackish was Louis, you Eden, how dare you? yeah I'll get to it eventually. I would definitely advise you do that. Come on, it's such a great trilogy. I think really it was defining the sci-fi genre at the time, and also for the next years. Now everybody's comparing sci-fi games to that original trilogy, honestly, at least especially to the first and the second game. And you can see it also whether we are talking about Mass Effect Andromeda or whether we are even talking now about Exodus, who's basically like a completely different company, still the same people, but completely different company, a different game, but people are still going to compare it to Mass Effect. It was such a genre-defining game, I would say, or trilogy. Snackish. Preach, Sisa. Games have been slop after slop after slop, yeah. Louis, next you will admit never watching the Holy Grail. Monty Python, well, once. Yeah, Monty Python is always worth watching, come on. Let me just check when you're... okay, Louis is writing, Civ games are not my cup of tea, but I love the soundtrack for Civ 5. The leader teams are one of my all-time favorite playlists. Yeah, I will be honest, from all the Civilization games, I like the fourth one the most. I can't really put my finger on it why. But again, they did, I think, like re-release it or something, because I did play the original one. The original Civilization 4 had an ending where if you would be winning the space race, so if your win was the space race, you could actually like see how you were building your spaceship. So you could see the spaceship and you could see how the parts are being added to the spaceship before you could launch it and fly away. And they did like re-release the game, I think, or they patched it somehow, and suddenly you didn't get this building of the ship anymore. You could just see in the notes at the bottom of the screen whenever you finished a portion of the starship that that specific part was added, and that's it. You just got like a note, a text at the bottom of the screen, and I was so unhappy when I have seen that, because it was so nice for me to see like, oh, I'm building it and it's just 2 more pieces and it's missing, and you could see the progress, and then they removed that part and I was just like, oh, come on, why? Because I love to win the space race. So yeah, I think the 4th one was my favorite one until they removed this part. But I do agree that the 5th one was also like very good, because they did fix some of the stuff that people were complaining about in the previous game. So yeah. John is saying Legendary has the Endings DLC. Oh really? Okay. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite. It was mine as well for a long time. I think at this point it's Mass Effect 3, don't kill me, but it's not because of the botched ending. So let's just think about the Mass Effect 3 game in terms of what I said, that I'm playing it with the happy ending mod. Okay, so everybody is alive, including Shepard. So for me, that's how the trilogy ends. And Mass Effect 3 was for me the most fun in terms of combat. And I liked the combat there the most, to be honest. I did like the weapons that we've got and the vast amount of weapons that we could choose from. I think it was way, way more than we had in the previous games. I mean, you had a vast assortment of weapons already in the previous games, yeah, but what I remember from, for example, from Mass Effect 2, there were 2 things that were bothering me. One was the never-ending, this extraction of the minerals from the planets. Like, you had to scan the planets and extract it for like a third of the game was nothing else, just planet hopping and gathering minerals. I was going crazy from that one. And then I also had the problem that not always the hiding mechanism was really working so well in the second two. Not like in the whole game, but on some spots. I remember when there was this mission in the second where you are going for Thane, and you are in these unfinished skyscrapers, and you are crossing to the other one. Don't ask me how often I had a problem there, because I just couldn't like get through that passage. Something always happened and I just died there because mechanically something was off and it wasn't working. And what I find a little bit strange, or what I didn't really like, was but it was between the games from 1 to 2 and from 2 to 3. Not always the same weapons were the best ones. So when you get used to one weapon in Mass Effect 1, it wasn't really having the same punch as the same weapon in the second game, and then again in the third game. So I had like in every game a different favorite weapon, and it took me a little time to actually figure it out which one is the best one for me and for my playstyle. So that was a little bit of a downside for me, but aside from that, I can say I would be appreciating the first one combat-wise, honestly, and especially I didn't like these cooldown periods. I died way too often because my guns overheated. So yeah, 1 is not my favorite. 2 is great. I really liked it, but it had its downsides, yeah. Let me go to what you're writing. Louis is writing, and really I have to commend the Civ team for some very authentic musical choices. In Civ 6, for example, the Fado Menor theme for Portugal is Distilled Essence of Coimbra. Yeah, And the music was always good. I always liked it in the Civilization games. John is writing, I'm a contrarian on Mass Effect weapons. I like the Mass Effect 1 ammo solution. Okay, so I guess you didn't die that often then. Because I was dying all the time because I had to wait for the cooldown. My weapons always overheated. Snackish. Oh my god, yes, I just unlock all systems and then just stop progressing the story. I'd put on music and scan so that I could get all the upgrades and then continue with the story. It was such a hassle, yeah. Mass Effect 2. You know what's worst? Whenever somebody like mentions Mass Effect 2 and this scanning, I can hear the sound when you release the probe, you know, this whoosh. I hear it in my head. I heard it so often. I can remember it. Like if you would wake me up in the middle of the night and tell me, can you remember the sound? Yes, I can. I can remember the sound of the probes in Mass Effect 2. So yeah, that was very distinguished sound for me for that game. Louise is writing them. Sorry, I'm disturbing the Mass Effect flow. It doesn't matter. It's okay. We're just at this point, basically, we are just talking about all sorts of games. I have one more last thing which I want to show you, but it's just like a funny bit at the end. So I prefer rather to have a discussion, to be honest. Yeah. Snackish is writing, if I replay it now, I just mod it because I'm only replaying for the story, not the annoying tidbits of the game. Yeah. And John is saying, yeah, I have a mod that slows down the Reaper's scan aggro. Oh yeah, I have it too. Yeah. And there is also, I think, a mod that allows you to scan one system all at once. Normally the scanner has a certain range, and when you are in a big star system, you had to do 2 or 3 pings to actually like scan the whole system. There is a mod that scans the entirety of the system, no matter how big it is. So technically you don't have to deal with the Reapers. I don't remember the name of the mod, but there is one for that. I'm pretty sure because I have it installed, I think. I have like 40 mods. And Snackish is saying, Alma, oh yes, all we got PTSD from planet scanning, yes. So there are some things which like in every game, those are like, nope. Whenever I see it, I'm getting goosebumps, but not in a good way. In Mass Effect 1, for me, it was like the Mako. Whenever I had to drive in the Mako, I was like, oh, come on. And you can see it. You could see it also in Mass Effect Andromeda. I am a really bad driver for these vehicles there in the sci-fi games, so I wasn't so fond of the Nomad in Mass Effect Andromeda as well. And I definitely wasn't so fond of the Mako. And I was so happy when they released Mass Effect 2 and they said, okay, there is no Mako. And I was like, yeah. But instead we have this, I remember that the Hammerhead that was like floating above the Earth. I'm like, come on, not again, another vehicle. So yeah, I wasn't so fond of it, to be honest. Scanning in Andromeda was tedious as well, yeah. Oh yeah, John is saying, yeah, the Mako in Mass Effect 1, yeah. That every game, but you know, now when you think about it, at that time I was complaining. When I was playing the game, I was like complaining and I don't like it. But now you look back and realize how great these games were for that time, and they are still great even today. And when you look at the slop that we get now, you are just like remembering even these nasty tidbits, and you are saying, oh, in the end it wasn't so bad. So yeah, it's just as time goes by and you see what is currently being released, you are happy even for the Mako and the scanning in Mass Effect 2. Yeah, so what I wanted to show you, and I hope you don't mind, I will be ending the stream in a few minutes then, because I'm honestly quite a bit tired, but I have something funny for you prepared, so I want to show you. I'm not sure, but you've probably seen that. There is more than one channel that does that. So the people are picking up the worst comments on games, TV series, movies, etc. And they are creating, let's say, AI music, which is where you get like a music and the text of the song is basically reading the comments, usually the worst comments. I do find this one the best, which is called Chat Music. Honestly, there are more channels, as I said, but you can see that whoever's having this channel is paying attention so that it actually rhymes. You see the comments being read in such a way that they are rhyming within the music, and you really get like a good song out of it. And I really like this one. I will play a little bit. I probably get some copyright strike, but yeah, I hope. I mean, it will not be so bad. If I get some strike, I will just probably mute then in the vid the passage, which will be stored on my channel. But I just wanted to play a little bit of this for you because this is so hilarious. So I will also post the link, but you can check it out for yourself. It's the channel is called Chat Music. It's just awesome. This is just one of them. I did find a couple of other like series and movies, and I think also games that have been heavily criticized. The worst comments have been picked for a song.
I think a happy ending would be if she is the apple in the movie fades to black. Even Microsoft is rooting for this Apple cancel due to premium, so I can't enjoy the ads. Not even Oppenheimer could make such a bomb. Disney's going down faster and faster. This movie been released in the 1900s, Titanic would have been forgotten as the worst disaster. Those look like none of them are allowed.
I hope you notice it's rhyming.
The United States military should use this movie as an interrogation tool.
I have to stop this. I really apologize, but I don't really want to play all of it because the video has only 2 minutes. I don't want to play it in its entirety, and then, like I said, I have some problems with the copyright. But you get the idea, and I think one of you has already written there. Comment section lyrics, John. Yeah, so probably you are aware of these kind of vids. I really had a good laugh, and I was watching quite a few of these vids like before going to sleep, and I had a good laugh. So yeah, I definitely advise you to check this channel out. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, there are more channels, so you will see similar ones, but I think this one is taking the best care of like making the lyrics rhyme, the comments rhyme within the music. So yeah, this one's really good. Snakish is writing, oh yes, I've seen this. I'm actually sub to the Chat Music. His videos are comedy gold. Yes, exactly. So whenever you see something like this, also let me know, because we can then show it on the stream. I just found it by chance when it popped up on my feed in YouTube, and I just had a good laugh, and then I just went from one vid to another, and this one was great. Yeah. Louise is saying, good timing, my train is almost in Budit. Okay, so you will be off your train soon, but at least you had like something to watch. I hope you had fun. Woke up from a coma to turn off the TV. That's from John. Yes. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this. I hope you did like at least the topics right now for this stream. And I will be doing something like this again, like the next month. I will pick something funny at the end, definitely, when I find something. But let me know in case you have something funny that you find on this spot, I would like to highlight. You can reach me on X, for example, right? So either post something in the comment section, but that's by the way, for you, Luis, and also for Secula, in case you're watching this, I have noticed you are sometimes like posting links into your replies for some good vids. I don't mind that, but the problem is that YouTube is automatically like removing these posts with links. So I have a problem to like approve, acknowledge these types of posts. So rather like type it out. For example, here, I don't know, chat music, just type the name of the channel and then maybe a little bit of the name, but don't post the links because I'm having trouble with the links on YouTube. So just FYI, it would be better they just get stuck in some separate folder on YouTube Studio, and I have to like specifically go there and check them out, and sometimes I'm not able like to approve it. So it's just all sorts of weird problems then. Luis, it makes sense. I was wondering. So I've noticed some of your posts, and also Secula was sending me some links. As I said, I don't mind because usually you guys are sending me like some good stuff, which I definitely check out. But the problem is that I cannot approve the comment. Sometimes it just gets stuck in this like separate folder and it's not appearing online on the channel. Snackish is saying, well, I don't normally send such things as I don't want to annoy people. You've seen my ramblings on Discord, but now that I have your permission, prepare yourself. You have all the permissions of the world. Guys, if you have anything funny, just send it my way. I love memes and fun stuff and things like this, so don't worry. If you have something like this, we can have a look at it on the next stream then. So yeah, send it my way. Yeah, John is saying that's why I just chat with titles. Yeah, exactly. It's you didn't miss anything too interesting. Just one of the videos comparing About and Oblivion. That's from Luis. Okay, good. Yeah, so definitely I will prepare again some usually I prepare 2 major topics. Which are game related, and then we can have a discussion like this. Or as I said, if you have something which you would like to see during the stream, or even like during the vids, in my vids, reach out to me. You can write it in the comments. You can reach me on X if you are there. For those of you who are on X, I am on Facebook as well. Not necessarily that often there, but still, I have messaging open on Facebook, so in case you are on Facebook and you just want to send me a message, you can do it there as well. So I'm reachable there as well. And then also I'm on Rumble, which I just wanted to highlight as well. So there they don't have like a messaging system, but just in case you want to see my vids there as well. No difference between Rumble and YouTube yet, so it's still the same. When I have some more time, I will probably do some extra stuff for Rumble, honestly, because I would like to have something different there. But for now, I am just re-uploading the YouTube vids there. So yeah, reach out to me, guys. And please, if you can, also don't forget to hit that like button, as I'm usually saying in my vids. It's really helpful. And also if you're commenting, and that's why I'm so happy that you are here and that you're commenting, because then the algorithm is pretty happy about any comments, and they are like promoting the vid to more people. And I'm getting the channel out to more people, and it's really much appreciated if you do that. I mean, it's very helpful. So thanks a lot to everyone who's doing that, and also special thanks here to John, I have to say, because he's a member. As you can see, he has a membership next to his name. There is a small sign. And also he's supporting me on Patreon. So John, thank you. It's really much appreciated, your support. I'm really thankful for everything. And I'm really happy that you take the time also to comment all the time on my vids. It's really great that you're doing that. So special thank you from my side to you. I think Tekla was in Nure's chat today. Yeah, I have noticed that she was also streaming today. It was a dumpster fire, okay. Trolls, oh, yeah, I mean, that was to be expected, to be honest, with some of the topics and some of the discussions that Nure had lately with some of the people. Unfortunately, some of the takes that you have as a creator will always attract also people who have not exactly the same opinion, and then some people are just expressing it in a way where you just say, okay, these people are just here to troll. So yeah, and of course, the more followers you have, the more people are watching your stream, the more people are joining your stream, and also the more trolls you will see. So yeah. Let me just check what we have. Snackish is saying, I will go back to making some memes, but maybe just shorts this time. I was about to give up, to be honest, but Sisa here was very supportive and kind and sweet, and she was one of the people who convinced me to get back to it. Yes, because you should. You have great takes, you have really good vids, and on this spot, also to everyone who's watching this stream, please check out the channel from Snacky Raccoon. Really great vids, really good takes, food for thought, I would say. So, of course, games and gaming topics, but I really enjoy your vids, and it would be a shame if you would stop. So I would love to see more of your vids, and hopefully you will have the time to do that, Snackish. So looking forward. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, arriving finally. Have a good night, everyone. See you in the comments. Thank you for being here, Lois, from the start. It was really great to have you here. Thanks for all the comments. Thank you. And Snackish, you're most welcome to take any seat you want, John. I'm just glad you're willing to get on the bus in the first place. Okay, guys. I would close the stream at this point, if you don't mind. It was really great again to have you here. It's always great when you can all join, and it's really a great discussion, and I really enjoy it because it's great to read also what you are writing and to exchange some thoughts here on some of the topics. So thank you for being here. Thank you all. I can see you are writing a good night. Yes, good night to everyone. John, probably you are still having some nice evening ahead, so have a nice evening. And to the rest of you, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and game on.